The merchant vessel Serendipity drifted silently through the Kepler Nebula, its hull scarred from countless hyperspace jumps. Captain Elena Vasquez sat in her worn pilot's seat, fingers dancing across holographic controls as she monitored cargo, bay temperatures. The shipment of rare earth minerals from the outer colonies would fetch a fortune on Mars, if they made it there alive. "Captain," her AI companion Aiden chirped through the comm system, detecting multiple energy signatures approaching. Configuration suggests Vorthak raider vessels. Elena's blood ran cold. The Vorthak were the galaxy's most feared pirates, 8 foot tall, reptilian predators with natural armor plating and a reputation for leaving no survivors. Their ships were fast, heavily armed, and crewed by warriors who viewed combat as religious ritual. "How many?" Elena asked, already knowing the answer. "Would be bad news." "7 vessels, Captain. We're severely outgunned." The Serendipity shuddered as tractor beams locked onto her hull. Elena watched helplessly as the massive Vorthak mothership Blood Talon filled her view screen, its crimson hull adorned with the skulls of 100 different species. Smaller fighter craft swarmed around her ship like metallic wasps. Within minutes, the airlocks hissed open, and Vorthak warriors poured aboard. Their leader, Commander Kethvar, stood nearly 9 feet tall, his obsidian scales gleaming under the ship's emergency lighting. 3 rows of razor-sharp teeth grinned in what humans might mistake for a smile, but was actually a threat display. "Human," Kethvar hissed, his translator rendering his words in accented English. "Your cargo now belongs to the Blood Talon clan. Submit, and your death will be swift." Elena stood slowly, raising her hands in apparent surrender. But those who knew her would have recognized the calculating look in her dark eyes. She had not survived 15 years of deep space trading by backing down from bullies. "Impressive ship you have there," Elena said conversationally. "Must be, what, 3 kilometers long? Crew of several thousand?" Kethvar's vertical pupils narrowed. "Do not attempt to delay the inevitable, human. Your species are weak, fragile creatures. We have conquered a dozen star systems. What could one pathetic human do against the might of the Vorthak?" Elena smiled, an expression that didn't reach her eyes. "You know what's funny about humans, Commander? We don't just fight with our bodies or our weapons. We fight with our minds." Before Kethvar could respond, Elena's hand moved to her wrist communicator. With a subtle gesture, she activated a command sequence she had hoped never to use. "Aiden, execute Protocol 7. "With pleasure, Captain," the AI responded. The lights throughout the Serendipity suddenly shifted to an ominous red. Kethvar and his warriors looked around nervously as the ship's speakers began broadcasting what sounded like random static. But it wasn't random at all. Elena had spent 3 years studying Vorthak biology after her first encounter with their raiders. She knew their hearing operated on frequencies far beyond human range, and that certain sonic patterns could trigger involuntary neurological responses in their reptilian nervous systems. The first Vorthak warrior collapsed within seconds, his massive frame convulsing as the carefully modulated sound waves overwhelmed his auditory cortex. Then another fell, then another. Commander Kethvar roared in fury and confusion as his elite boarding party writhed helplessly on the deck. But Elena wasn't finished. During her cargo runs through disputed space, she had installed several modifications to her ship that weren't listed in any official manifest. Hidden emitters throughout the Serendipity began flooding the air with a cocktail of pheromones specifically designed to trigger fear responses in Vorthak brain chemistry. "You see, Commander," Elena said, stepping over the twitching form of a warrior. "Humans might not have natural armor or claws, but we have something better. We learn. Every encounter with your people taught us something new about your weaknesses." Kethvar struggled to his feet, fighting against both the sonic assault and the chemical warfare now flooding his senses. His proud warrior's bearing was reduced to a pathetic stumble. "Impossible," he gasped. "No single human could what? Outsmart the great Vorthak?" Elena's voice carried 15 years of accumulated anger at bullies throughout the galaxy. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call off your attack and order your ships to withdraw. If you don't, I activate the emergency beacon that will summon a human colonial navy patrol. Kethvar laughed weakly. Your navy is sectors away. They could never. Actually, they're about 3 minutes out, Elena interrupted. You didn't scan very carefully, did you? That merchant cargo you're so eager to steal? It includes prototype military hardware being shipped to the Mars Defense Force. The Navy has been tracking us for the last 6 hours. As if summoned by her words, 3 sleek human warships dropped out of hyperspace, their weapons already charging. The lead vessel, UCS Retribution, hailed Elena's ship. Captain Vasquez, this is Admiral Chen. We see you've got company. Need any assistance? Elena looked down at Commander Kethvar, who was now barely conscious from the sustained neural assault. Around him, his warriors lay motionless but breathing. Elena had carefully calibrated the frequencies to incapacitate, not kill. Actually, Admiral, I think I've got things well in hand. But if you could escort these gentlemen back to their ship and suggest they find a new line of work, I'd appreciate it. Within an hour, the Vorthak fleet was in full retreat. Commander Kethvar, humiliated but alive, managed one final transmission before his ships jumped to hyperspace. This is not over, human. The galaxy will hear of this dishonor. Elena smiled as she watched the raider ships disappear. I'm counting on it. Word of the encounter spread throughout the galaxy faster than hyperspace communications could carry it. The story grew with each telling, how a single human had defeated an entire Vorthak raiding party without firing a shot, using nothing but cunning, preparation, and an intimate understanding of her enemy's biology. Within a month, Vorthak attacks on human vessels dropped by 70%. Other pirate species began giving human ships a wide berth. The encounter became required reading at xenobiology academies across human space. But Elena Vasquez, the woman who had single-handedly changed the balance of power in 3 sectors, just went back to running cargo through the most dangerous regions of the galaxy. After all, she had a reputation to maintain. Some legends are born in the heat of battle. Others are carefully calculated, precisely executed, and thoroughly devastating. The galaxy learned that day that humans were far more dangerous when they had time to think than when they were forced to fight. And in the far reaches of Vorthak space, warrior poets would tell the tale of the small human female who had brought down mighty Kethvar without spilling a single drop of blood. A reminder that in the vast cosmos, intelligence would always triumph over brute force.